Hello guys, what's up? My name is Riot. Today we're here to review the PowerA Fusion Pro 3, one of the best controllers on the market for any kind of competitive gamer. So to start things off, I am going to talk about these 4 back buttons just because they do feel really good. And if you hear them, they sound very clicky, and for those of you who don't know, I love clicky buttons. I love anything that, makes that satisfying sound that just, makes me go wild. But I just want to sit here and I just want to take a minute to just, point out the fact that these buttons actually do land right on your fingers, and it just feels very comfortable to play with. The buttons here on the front also feel very well as well. I'm not here to give a full in-depth, it's 0.8 milliseconds for a reaction time kind of video. I'm just trying to tell you guys flat out, is this controller worth buying or is it not? Is it for you? Is it not? We'll sit here and we'll answer that in a second. Another thing I also wanted to point out, by the way, before we get into deeper gameplay and, all that stuff, is these trigger stops are really well. If you guys see right here, I think these trigger stops do a decent job. The thing is, though, it doesn't really cut out a whole lot of travel. In my opinion, it only cuts out maybe about 30%, maybe 40%. But honestly, there's not much between this right here. There's not much difference between that and this. At least I don't feel much of a difference. But still, I do recommend this controller just because it is only $80 on the current market right now. And even with all that going on, I still think it's a very solid option for anyone who's on a budget and who needs to, get their hands on a controller with some decent buttons behind them, decent compatibility. And, without further ado, let's get into the gameplay, and we'll let the gameplay speak for itself. So even after showing off all that gameplay and everything, the main question is this controller for you and should you buy it? I'm not sponsored by PowerA or anything else, but I do think this is a very solid controller option. That said, I do think it's primarily for shooters and I do think it's primarily for anyone who needs like back pedal buttons. So I say if you're looking for like a regular Xbox controller, there's no need to buy something like this, you know, especially if you're looking for a regular Xbox controller, chances are you probably want it wireless. So, and let's be honest, that doesn't have that option. But if you're a person on a budget and you still want to compete and you still want to, you know, do well and competitive, then this controller is honestly a solid option if you're on a budget right now. And especially since right now it's what's it called, PowerA has always been, in my opinion, it's always been a very solid company for controllers. At least I've never had an issue with their products. So I could definitely say I definitely recommend this controller to anyone looking to compete or to stay in competitive. I do want to point out, however, though, that I did break this controller. Completely my fault. I did I did accidentally drop it, and it fell down the stairs, and after that it just didn't work the same. But I do want to say I still think it's a very solid controller option. Only reason I'm throwing that out there is because I never really got a chance to test how durable this thing is, and I really don't want to, you know, tear this controller apart. So without further ado, I just want to say what's it called, I do recommend this controller. If you guys are looking for a good controller to get into the competitive scene, then, you know, go ahead, pick one up and, you know, see what you think about it. Also, I do recommend, if you're playing Fortnite or you're playing Call of Duty or any other shooter, I do recommend that your dead zone's probably going to have to be a little higher than normal. My experience with this controller is that it was very sensitive. It didn't necessarily have stick drift right out of the box, but it was very sensitive. You know, I felt like one little pull here like meant my character was going all around the world. So for those of you who, you know, do pick up a controller like this, maybe you should keep that in mind. But yeah, without further ado, I do recommend this controller, and please don't forget to like, subscribe, and if you're gonna pick yourself up a controller, make sure you comment X down below in the comments, and without further ado, I'm Riot. Peace out.